nonfiction, music, art. A copyright is an intellectual property right granted by a government that gives the owner exclusive right to use, with some limited exceptions, original expressive work. Examples of materials entitled to copyright protection include original works of fiction, nonfiction, music, architectural design, artistic paintings, and sculptures. Copyright law in the United States is governed by the Copyright Act of 1976. In order to receive copyright protection, a piece of work must meet the following requirements. 1. Original expression. The work must be a unique expression of thought or idea that isn't already published in the public domain. Basically, the work must be significantly new and different from other works. For example, you can't rip the title page off of a Harry Potter book, rename it Harold Zotter, and claim a copyright over the material. You also should note that you cannot copyright an idea, just the expression of an idea. For example, you can't copyright the idea of superstring theory, but you can have a copyright on your essay explaining superstring theory. And 2, reduced to tangible form. You must reduce your work into a tangible form, as in a physical form, such as printing your novel or writing music onto sheet paper or putting it in an audio recording. If you hold a copyright over a piece of work, your exclusive rights include reproducing, which typically means recreating and re-releasing the work; creating, which is a right given to you by copyright that allows you to create derivative work from your original work; distributing, which is a right given to you by copyright that allows you to sell or give away your work to others; performing your work, which is a right granted by copyright allowing you to do things like reading a chapter of your book at a local library event; and finally, displaying your work, which is a right granted by copyright allowing you to show your work at places such as an art gallery. Of course, you're free to license or sell the copyright to your own work. You don't have to transfer all your rights. For example, an artist may give an art gallery permission to show the artist's work, but not to reproduce the work. You may give a magazine a license to publish your short story or commentary, but only for a one-time publication. You do not have to register your work for copyright protection. You actually are protected by copyright law the moment your original expression is reduced to a tangible form. You can register your work at any time. Registration with the U.S. Copyright Office is required if you want to pursue a court action to stop copyright infringement. A copyright is effective during the life of the author, plus 70 years, but can be renewed in certain circumstances. A very important exception to copyright protection is the fair use doctrine. If you've ever paraphrased or quoted the work of someone else, you have taken advantage of the fair use doctrine. The fair use doctrine allows you to make some limited use of a copyrighted material in specific circumstances. Whether a particular use is covered under the fair use doctrine depends on a combination of several factors, including the amount of copyrighted material used, whether the use was for profit, and what type of economic effect the use has on the copyright holder. Again, a classic example of fair use is a student or scholar utilizing the research of another scholar in an academic paper. All right, let's review what we've learned. A copyright is an intellectual property right that protects the creator or owner of original expressive works. It was put in place by the Copyright Act of 1976, which is the governing act of legislation that defines copyright law in the United States. The law stipulates that the copyrighted material must be reduced to a tangible form. A copyright affords the owner the exclusive right to reproduce it, create derivative works from it, perform the work, and display the work. An important exception to copyright protections is the fair use doctrine that allows others to make limited use of copyrighted material under certain circumstances. Before finishing up, let's run through the important terms and definitions we covered in this lesson. Original expression. This is one that isn't already published and is significantly new compared to other works. Reduced to tangible form. This means to have your work in physical form. Reproducing. This typically means recreating and re-releasing the work. Creating. This is a right given to you by copyright that allows you to create derivative work from your original work. Distributing. This is a right given to you by copyright that allows you to sell or give away your work to others. Performing your work. This is a right granted by copyright, allowing you to do things like reading a chapter of your book at a local library event. And finally, displaying your work. This is a right granted by copyright, allowing you to show your work at places such as an art gallery.